Most anime that comes along gets forgotten about after a few years if it doesn't garner any substantial following, for better or for worse. In this new series, I look back at some of the potentially good shows that I've viewed and reflect on why I either watched them now or back then. So, coming full circle to our main point, we're going to talk about a show called Murder Princess. If this show doesn't ring a bell, I wouldn't be shocked. It had a 6-episode OVA in 2007, sent out by Studio B-Train. If you haven't heard of them, I don't blame you. It doesn't have any other follow-ups either. The manga doesn't really follow a further storyline, which is kind of a shame, as though it completed a full arc. The world is still brimming with possibilities to be explored. Now, talking about plot, it handles magic in this world in a really cool way, and the old lost technology kind of trope, and how that influences the modern technology in this medieval-style world. At its core, this is a post-apocalyptic magica show, and it unveils that plot at a nice pace to the viewer. The show isn't perfect with power levels, nor does it have much time to flesh out basic power levels of fighters in the world besides the villains and heroes, but their interactions and ambitions make up for this blemish, and allow you to digest the content easily enough. It can be seen as a pretty generic world of fantasy, but with the amount of unknown and presentation we are given, it has a bit of grit to it in how the past shaped the current world, and how Falis' upbringing also shapes our perception of the world as well. So, let's talk about some characters. There are some hit-or-miss characters here. First, there's Falis, a strong bounty hunter in the world who gets screwed by fate and ends up permanently in the body of the princess of the current kingdom she is in, Forland. From there, she adjusts to her new role as heir to the throne and identity issues that her and Alita, also known as Milano, the princess who now control Falis' body. Typical Freaky Friday bit, except it's permanent with some minor caveats. Then there is Alita. She is a bit meek, quiet, and sheltered to do being a princess and whatnot, but has a strong core of beliefs she holds dear, and helps Falis along with being a strong ruler that she knew she could never be. They have a wonderful growth between the two as a sisterhood-like bond develops, and if the show actually had more episodes, then it could have actually been something to note in the grand archive of anime, perhaps. Dominakov and Pete are Falis' bounty hunter buddies, and they offer some nice commentary and a little comic relief. They're honestly the ones who keep the show on track by helping out the protagonists morally, and don't suck dick at combat when it comes to crunch time. Exactly what you want out of your supporting cast. On the other hand, there is Jodo, who is a butler, and he tries to help out Alita mostly, as well as Falis in the ruler parts, basically covering the ground the bounty hunter gang doesn't for the thought-provoking reasons on how to run a kingdom and stop the big bad. The villains are probably the weaker point when put under the microscope, as Dr. Akamashi with his lolly androids Anna and Yuna provide ire for our heroes early on, and are the reason why most of the plot begins in the first place. It's odd how easily Anna and Yuna flip sides to avenge the Doctor's death, spoilers, but that's probably the only plot hiccup I didn't care for. Due to the short length of the show, we as an audience are never really able to adjust to them switching sides in the good versus evil point of view. Prince Kaito has lots of potential, but basically his motives are so hilariously stereotypical for a final big bad, I kinda didn't take him seriously. Cecilia was the only believable villain in being basically a technomancer witch who has a lust for more power from the old world. Basically, the best of the bunch in my opinion is gonna be Cecilia, but especially with Light Down to Kaido with the final act, with his potential being just kind of squandered, he definitely could have had better motives for wanting more power, and made them morally provoking towards our heroes, but the writing just didn't really allow for that in the end. Sound quality and animation are all on par for a serviceable and decent show in the mid-2000s, and going back to watch it today you can notice some of the age, but it's nothing that hurts the show in any capacity. The voice acting is done quite well, so also no complaints there either. Ultimately, if you have 3 hours to burn and want to enjoy a decently crafted fantasy plot, Murder Princess is a good choice. It's not a perfect show or a top-tier show by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a nice little gem that's worthy of a casual watch and enjoyment. Plain and simple. If you've enjoyed this series, these are the types of shows I occasionally stumble upon while searching for bad anime out there for my main series of this channel. It's a breath of fresh air to me, honestly, and I just feel like reciting some of the praise I'm not sure it had garnered since I haven't really been a connoisseur of anime that long. Otherwise, this is Alex from Inside the Dumpster, and if you like this video and want to see more like it, drop a sub, comment below, tell me how you feel about it, etc., and I'll see you later.